But let's let people get to know you a little bit first, Laura. Tell people where you're from and where you grew up and all this kind of stuff.
Okay, I'm Laura Booth, and I grew up actually in Pendleton, South Carolina. I've been living in Belton, South Carolina since 2016. I'm married with 3 kids and moved down there and plan to stay in Belton.
And your family, I know, is from the area. I think my mom and one of your grandparents grew up together over on the Mill Hill in LaFrance. So your family's roots are deep here.
Yes, my father's from LaFrance, South Carolina. My mother's actually from Highlands, North Carolina.
And when you were growing up, did you ever think you'd be working for the elections, voter registration and elections office?
No, that was not ever in my scope of what I wanted to do. So no, never thought about it. Never knew this would actually be a job as it is until I got older.
And tell me a little bit about that path. How did you get here? Because you've been here a good while.
I have. I've been here for 14 years. I started with Anderson County working for Family Court and was there for several years. And then I had a girlfriend that actually came into this office and was telling me, you know, all about what the elections were and everything. Of course, I've been voting since I was 18, but when a job came open in this office, I applied for it and luckily I got the position. Since I've been hired, I've actually been over the voter registration elections, just the voter services part. All the registration in the county, the voter registration, I've been over that. We started out with a very small staff and we've slowly grown because we've gotten busier and a lot more people are voting and registering to vote. So we've grown since then, but I've always been over the voter registration services.
And how has that changed since you came on board?
We're a lot more busy now, which is a great thing. That means we have more people registered to vote. It's went from simple systems to technology now that just is hard to keep up with sometimes, but it's part of the process of learning. Our voting system's changed since I've been here, so that's been a learning curve, but it's a good thing. It's a change for the good, but it has changed a lot over the years.
Is it easier for people to register now than it was when you started?
Oh, way easier. When I first started working for registration elections, you could go to the DMV, you come here in person, you could mail a form, or you go to a library or a state agency. Now you can do everything from your smartphone. We have the scvotes.gov. You could send, attachment on your iPhone or your cell phone and email it to us. And we didn't have those options back when I began this job.
During your years here, have you grown to where you're encouraging all your friends and family to vote more than you were before?
I think so, yes. At first, when I first started working, of course, I got on my family about getting registered to vote because I did have my father and my mother, neither one was registered to vote until I started working here. That just was, they're from that generation that they just didn't do that. But since then, especially when someone wants to talk politics, which I do not like to do, but if you're going to mention politics, I always do ask, are you registered to vote? Because I don't want to hear any complaints if you have not registered to vote and you're voting.
And is that a challenge to be apolitical as you work here, or you're just used to doing it and you're just divorced from what you do?
I think when I'm in this office and I'm doing my job, I'm so used to separating myself and not having opinions that's just my job. I'm worried that the law's being upheld and that everyone has the same chance and the right to vote as everyone else. That actually has never been an issue for me.
And how do you stay on top of the changes? Because right now it seems like things are changing faster than ever.
They are. I do read the news, of course, every morning to see if there's anything that I should be warned about before I get to the office. But our State Election Commission is really good about giving us heads up and letting us know if there's any changes in the forecast that we can prepare for.
And are there any changes coming up here in the next year or so that y'all are working to get ready for?
Not that I'm aware. There's some things that's being talked about in legislation, but they have not became an actual bill yet or a law. So as of right now, no, we're sitting steady. We're kind of, I don't want to say smooth sailing, but we have a good forecast ahead of us right now.
And you had a general election now with the new voting machines and the safety regulations and all.
Yes.
How well did that go, and how did that help you prepare as we go forward? Do you think it'll be even smoother next time?
I do think it'll be smoother. It was a lot on us at one time, getting a new voting system and then having to adhere to COVID-19 regulations. It was a lot to ask of our poll managers and our clerks, but we went through it. I mean, it was trying times. Everyone was having to learn. We were having to go back and think about things that you've never had to think about before. You've never thought that, hey, I'm within 6 feet of this person, or, you know, they don't have on a mask, or we have to have a shield up. That was a brand new ball game to us. I really think that learning the new voting system was easier than adjusting to COVID regulations for us, just because we know we get these new systems as far as voting. We're trained on it. It's in a book. It's black and white. You learn it. But the COVID thing was kind of up in the air for everybody for a long time. So that was really hard on us.
And I think it was the first time, we were one of the first, I mentioned this when I talked to Katie about it, to have the cages that locked everything down. It was the most secure election Anderson County's ever had, right?
Yes, sir. Those cages have been a blessing. We have a cage for every precinct, and we keep all the equipment locked in there until it's time for us to get ready for the election to program the equipment, and then but it stays back locked and it goes to the polling places locked, and we deliver now and pick up the equipment.
And sometimes people forget that just because they're not voting for anybody in November doesn't mean nobody's voting. This year y'all have had a lot of municipal elections and still have some more coming up. How do y'all get the word out to people about those?
We're going to get more active on our social media. That's the plan of mine today. But a lot of it is in the hands of the municipalities. We do let people know in notices and putting things in the paper. Unfortunately, sometimes it seems to fall on deaf ears. But as far as getting the word out, if we want people to start watching our social media, it's become a lot more active.
Well, you've always been good about getting the word out before, even when we talked about elections coming up. You and I have talked before. And tell me, you just mentioned social media. Let's talk about that and some of the other things you have as part of your strategy moving forward as new director. One
of the first things I'm going to address is our social media. That's a quick, way to get the word out from your fingertips. That can happen on Saturday morning while I'm sitting on my couch. It's an easy way to get the word out. A lot of people, especially our younger generations, they live on their cell phones anyways. If they can follow us, they can know exactly what's going on, what's going to affect them, what's not going to affect them, and what's coming up. I'm also making some plans of getting back out into the community. Like I said earlier with the COVID, we have not seen people in person in a long time, and I'm wanting to get back out into the schools, into some of our local colleges and universities, and talk to these people one-on-one. I would love to get a better relationship with our local government too, and get to know them, because I do not personally know a lot of them, and just have a good open communication. That way, if we need something from them or if they need something from us, we do have that line of communication already open.
And just to remind people, just very simply, if somebody's watching this and they thought, I meant to register to vote, what's the simplest, easiest way for them to get registered?
The simplest way to register to vote is to go to our website, the scvotes.gov. As long as your driver's license is up to date, you're maybe on there 3 minutes at the most. You'll get a card within a week in the mail, and you're good to go.
And in terms of getting the word out beyond that, are y'all going to have availability for like civic clubs and stuff if they want to invite y'all to come talk about how what y'all are doing and what we can do here?
Yes, I welcome the invitation to go speak at any civic organization or any group that would invite us. I'd love to go and talk one-on-one and get to know our community better. So yes, send the invites. Now that we're back in person, I'd love to go.
And do y'all have any outreaches to the schools? Because some of those kids will be turning 18. And
we do. Prior to last year because of COVID, but prior to that, I went to every high school in the county and even our private schools and spoke to the seniors or the qualifying people, the qualifying students that could get registered to vote. I have went and spoke to some of the government econ classes when I got invited, just to let them know, this is what to expect, this is what you do, and this is pretty much our voting system in South Carolina. And I look forward to doing that again this year.
And is having Katie as a resource really still a valuable thing since you're a new director, that you can still just talk to the old director because y'all were friends for a long time?
We are friends. I'm very blessed to fall in behind her because she's one of the most organized people I've ever met. She's not here anymore because she got to retire. Good for her. But she left a notebook for everything. Earlier this week, I was needing to contact some of our commissioners. I didn't have their contact info. There's a book for that. There's a book for a policy and procedure for everything. And I really appreciate her organization skills. That's made my life a lot easier stepping into this role.
And the staff here has been pretty consistent. Y'all have had pretty much the same core for a long time, right?
We have, I mean, every once in a while we have a newbie come through, but we have a good, great, excellent staff that's works well together. We've already been through 2020 and probably 2016 mostly together. So we work well together, we know each other, and our staff's very educated in what they do.
And coming into the months ahead, people can expect to see a lot more of you then, since you're talking about getting out to let them know about the elections coming up this year and then next year again.
Yes, because this is a slow year for us. Speaking as far as elections go, we do have some municipalities that's having their general elections in November, but this is the time of the year or the years that I get to go out into the public, or our staff gets to go out into the public. Coming election year, when we're doing elections back to back, we don't have that luxury. So I want to take advantage of that time now to go ahead and get out there and get into our communities, because next year and definitely 2024, we'll be in this office all the time.
And if people want to invite somebody out, how do they get in touch with y'all, or what do they do to get in touch with you?
Sure, give us a call. Our number is 864-260-4035. Let us know what the organization is and what you need out of us. And if we can, we'd be more than happy to accommodate you.